Okay, hello everyone. I hope you guys are doing well. So today I'm back with another video tutorial. So today we will going to create a bucket in S3 and we try to store some files in S3. As in the last video I discussed about the S3 different storage classes and the pricing informations of the S3. So let's get started. So basically you just need to go to the AWS services and under the storage you will find the first one is the S3 simple storage service. So once you go to the S3 services you will ask for you can create your own bucket. I have some random buckets which I already created under my S3 account right now. So if you want to create a bucket, just type the bucket name and make sure your bucket name is a universal name which is only be created once in the world. Like if I'm going to create a test bucket which is already used by some another person in the world, like most probably when this concept of S3 launched by Amazon in the first place, maybe somebody create this bucket. So if I go into create the test bucket, which is a universal name, so it must be occupied by somebody. So it's saying the bucket name already exists. So if I put bucket 2020, I believe it must be taken by somebody. Somebody has already used it as it is. So I'm going to create this bucket name as YouTube testing bucket. I bet this is not going to be taken by anyone. And you can select a region according to you. My recommendation is just use the Northern Virginia region at the moment because it is the cheapest. If you really wants to see how you can find out which region is going to cost you more or less, all you can just use calculator S3, something like that. You will find the first link of the calculator S3. This is the service you can use provided by AWS to find out the particularly which is going to cost you more or less. Like if I'm going to show you with the EC2 instance, like for the Northern Virginia, is I'm going to select on the per hour basis, and if I'm going to select for 1 hour, if I'm going to use 1 hour per day of the usage of the Linux T3 large one, it's going to show me the cost of monthly cost is $10.32. Now if I'm going to change the region to, let's suppose, Sydney, because this is the closest to me because I lived in Melbourne. So if I'm going to change it to now $1, so it's going to show me for $13. So you can see the difference between of $3 from Northern Virginia to the Sydney region. So depending upon your region, the price is going to be a little higher. So just make sure if you really wants to uh, worried about the cost or the price at the moment. So always go to the simply monthly calculator and find out which service you want to use and which region is going to be going to cost you little less. So now coming back to the main thing, so we are going to create this bucket now, and the thing is you cannot put the underscore in your bucket. If you really want to see the bucket rules, you can I'm going to put the link for that thing. You can put your the number of links, like you can create the bucket name between 3 to 65 letters. So I have just put the bucket name YouTube testing bucket and I select the Northern Virginia at the moment, and I'm not going to put anything copy existing, so I'm just going to click next. Okay, now it's asking me for the configuration options like versioning, server access logging, key value pair, level logging, default encryptions, and permanently allow objects in the buckets to be logged. I suggest don't worry about it at the moment because I'm going to discuss each and every concepts like what is versioning, what is server access logging and object level logging. So just skip that part and just move to the next one. And now the by default, whenever you create a bucket, it is created as a private bucket. That means you are the only one who can access the bucket. And Amazon by default provides you that you are blocking all the public access. That means you are not allowed to share your bucket URL to anyone, and nobody else except you can see the bucket and the inside the resources or the objects you are going to put, like your private files or your payroll data or anything, whatever you want to put it, you can put it. And after that, after getting the setting by default, it's blocked, so I'm not going to change that permission at the moment. And it's also asking first for the managing the system permissions, so I'm just saying do not grant any S3 log delivery groups to write access to the bucket. So I didn't change anything. Now if I'm reviewing, so I just put everything as default at the moment, so I didn't change anything. I didn't enables the versioning or the server access logging or anything. So now I'm going to create the bucket. So this is my bucket has been created in the US East North Virginia. Now I'm going to put some objects inside this bucket because this bucket is empty at the moment. Now if I'm going to, let's suppose I'm going to add something like my reference letter, I'm going to add it. So one more thing I would like to show, like if you want to add a bunch of things together, you can do like this. Like you just need to go and select, it's going to collect all. I don't want to upload all the files at the moment, so I just put my reference letter provided by professor at the moment. And now you can also see the storage classes. When you click on this button, you can see the overview, properties, permissions, and everything. Now in the overview, it's saying as about the key, size, the expiry date and rules, e-tags, last modified, and the object URL. And it also showing us the property, storage, encryptions, metadata, and all the other things. And it's also providing the permissions like owners and the read guarantees. Another thing is, if I'm going to click on this object URL button, it's going to deny the thing because I cannot go and open the file on the public URL because we did not provide the bucket as public at the moment. So the first thing you have to do if you want to provide your some of the data to the public, like if you are creating or putting your resume inside, or you want to give access to some video link that you want to be accessed by everyone anywhere in the world, so you probably need to make your bucket public. So what we will going to do now, I'm going to make this particular bucket as public. So if you see it here saying the block public access in the permissions tab, so you just need to click on that. And now I'm going to edit this thing, and I'm going to disable the all public access, and now I'm going to save it. So now all I just need to confirm that I'm making my bucket as public, so now anyone can access it. Now the thing is, I make my bucket as public but not the objects as public. Now the second thing we need to do is to make the objects inside this particular bucket is public. So make sure whenever you create a bucket and you make it as public, it doesn't mean that the objects inside the bucket is also public. You have to make it public, because even still if I'm going to open this URL and it's going to deny it. So all you need to make the now the objects as public. So what we will going to do, we will just go to the particular object, and now you see this action button, action tab, just make public. So now I'm making this particular reference letter public, so I can put this particular link in my resumes or in the job application so that anyone can see it. So now it is public, so I'll just going to open the URL so that anyone can see it. So now you can see anyone can see this my reference letter in the job. So in that way you can use and create the particular bucket, and you can make your objects public. A lot of things you can do inside that particular objects, like you can change the storage class if you want to change the class, or the permissions, or you want to encrypt your data, like providing the 256 and server side encryptions, or the key management service, I'm going to discuss each and everything like how you can create the lifecycle management policies, a lot of things. So uh, that's it for this lecture. I just this is just a beginning, like how you can create a bucket and how you can put the objects inside the bucket and how you can make your bucket as public. And in the last, I would like to discuss one more thing. Like I said earlier, if you're creating a bucket and making it as public, it doesn't mean that the object inside the bucket is also public. You have to go and select each object in which you want to make it public. Otherwise, it's not able to access worldwide by anywhere. So that's it for this lecture, and I'm going to make another video soon regarding discussing the properties and the permissions and the versioning control about the S3. Oh, thank you.